today, working on the truck. Gonna try to get this thing going again before we actually head down to Texas. There's one more race that we want to try to make. It's kind of an all truck race down in Pueblo, and we didn't think we were gonna be able to make it. I didn't really have the motivation to make it, but Boris said, no, screw that, we're gonna make this work. So he got what we needed, and we're tearing it apart now. Hey, the pinion came through. Oh, shit. Hang on. Nope. Screw your shop floor. This thing, right? Oh, it's broken anyway. We're good. Actually, I don't even think those two teeth broke until we started winching it up the trailer. So I skipped a decent amount because we were just trying to see if this was going to be possible at all. So as you can see, we got it all torn apart and everything. Got the axles out. Just took the diff and the pinion out of there. And we did get this side rotated back to where it was supposed to be. We had to use like a strap and a pry bar to get it rotated. And then we went to go try to do the other side, but it tried rotating this back. So we're gonna get this side completely re-welded back up so that it won't turn. And then we're gonna do the same thing that we did over here. So hopefully it goes good. I mean, all we had to do, we had to heat these up quite a bit, use a torch to heat them up. And then we used this whole method and I was able to break it loose. But like I said, we gotta get this side shored up before we start trying to turn that side. But to do that, we wanted to take the axle out. When this weld broke, it pulled the tube out a little bit. So we wanted to take the axle out so that we can actually tap this in and get it right up against the housing again so that there wasn't any length differences or anything like that. So we tapped it in, it's all the way up against it. Now we just need to clean it up and weld it up nice and good around the tube. And then we'll do the other side. And then we're gonna put in some extra bracing, which we'll show later. That's where we're at now. I'll show the progress here in a second. We got a new ring and pinion gear, so the diff looks good, the housing looks good. We should be able to get this back together and be racing again. So here's our axle. One of the things that we were kind of worried about was, you know, it's been in the car for about 3 years now, and we weren't sure what the, I guess, life of the axle had been. So we wanted to check and see if the axle had twisted at all. Everything looks really good. It's hard to focus. I don't know if you can see it or not. But yeah, overall the axles look really great. I think we're in good shape. We're just gonna put these back in and keep hammering on them. Good product, Strange Engineering. Alright, so we skipped over a little bit of stuff because it took all of our hands and legs to get these axle tubes straight. So I'll show you what we did, but honestly it was just me and him, and we had like a breaker bar with a ratchet strap attached to the frame and the end of that breaker bar, and then we had like a chain ratchet also on that same tube, and like an 8-foot pole on that that we were cranking down on. It took a lot of force to turn these things. Seeing how much force it actually is, I mean, we're trying to get this ready to go and everything, but I'll probably get a new housing for later on. Probably just the housing. The axles look so good, I don't think I'm gonna get another set of axles, but maybe a good idea to get another housing that we can, you know, brace up the way we really like it, and, you know, we'll use that in the future. But for now, seems to be that we got the tubes right back to where they were. We were able to line up where the marks were, both on the weld, like, because where it broke, it left a very clean line of like where the weld actually was. So we were able to get it close and then look at that weld and put it right back in the exact same spot, tap the tubes closer, and weld them back up. Back together, the 4-link brackets. I didn't hook all of this stuff back up yet, but brackets are back into place. We know we're in the same location because the 4-link bars, we didn't have to like move them around or anything. We did not change the length of either of the bars. And when we put the rear end back up after rotating the tubes, these lined up perfectly. I mean, didn't even have to fight them or anything. We just popped that bolt right back in on both sides. So I'm pretty sure we're back to straight on all of that stuff. And But we did find, unfortunately, that one of the axles was falling apart. Or not the axle, but the bearing on the axle. So we already took the old one off, but if you'll see in here, the little cages that hold the bearing, the ball's actually in there, these were all loose. Like all the little rivets that hold those together, they were pretty much all undone, and one of them fell out as we were putting it into the tube. We went to go get replacement bearings, and unfortunately, we thought we could just get regular 4 9-inch bearings, and it turns out that the strange bearings that we originally had in here are slightly bigger inner diameter. So we got this one about this far, and it wouldn't go down any further, so then we took some measurements and yeah, found out that these are a little bit bigger. So we're gonna order the right ones, hopefully get them here by Thursday, and then be able to put these axles back in. But we're gonna see what we can do until then, because we still do have to make a new diagonal bar. The bar that used to go from here to that point, when the axle was flopping around and everything in there, even though it had this to carry it, it went low enough to where it really banged up the diagonal bar. So we got to make a new one of those. That we can do today because we know the length of what that bar was, and we actually wanted it to be a little bit longer so that we can use different points to connect it. So we're just gonna measure that bar that was bent and make it like maybe 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch longer. It's really all we needed. Then we should be good to go on that. We'll be able to get centered back up. And then you'll see in here, the housing survived pretty good. There wasn't really anything broken inside it until we tried moving it. So I took the yoke off that kept the pinion from actually falling into the housing. When we were trying to get it up onto the trailer, it bound up and then it broke a bunch of stuff. So that's what these little pieces are and everything. But it didn't actually happen during the breakage. When this thing rotated up, it just broke outer stuff, the yoke and the drive shaft and obviously the welds. So Bora is whipping up the new bearings that we got on the new pinion. So getting that all ready to go. And let's see, we got new ring gear too, right?
Yeah, it's over there in the box.
Oh, okay. So we'll get those together and do what we can today. I guess the rest is gonna have to be for Thursday. Seems like every time we try to be ahead of it. We were talking earlier when we were working on this on Saturday, and we were like, we won't need Thursday, so we'll just come back Tuesday and, you know, get the axles back in there and start wrapping everything up, and then maybe do some testing on Thursday. But still gonna be working on it on Thursday. But it shouldn't be too bad because everything, the whole center is gonna be done.
Except for one axle.
Yeah, gotta slip the axle in.
Wheels there and brakes.
Yep, and then just reassemble the brakes back on there. Put the wheels on. I'll bring the slicks up with me. Maybe we can make a test hit just to see if it goes straight. Because that's probably my only worry with this is that, you know, we bent the tubes back. We're pretty sure everything is back to where it used to be. If we are slightly off on, you know, anything, it could affect the behavior of the truck when we launch. So hopefully it still goes straight. We'll make some adjustments if it doesn't, but hopefully it'll be good right off the bat and we'll be ready for the weekend. So we'll get to that and I'll show you when we're done. Alright, so we got the new bar all cut to size. Got the ends in there, cleaned up, ready to weld. Probably overkill for the fact that I'm MIGging it, but I suck at welding, so I need to give myself every advantage I can get. This is the old one, as you can see, slightly bent. Drive shaft smacked it right here, just buckled it. Funny thing is, it was still keeping the rear end in place. It didn't move it over far enough to actually rub the tire on the frame, so that was good. But yeah, basically going with the same size as we had before, and yeah, weld it up real quick. Should be good to go. We've got the new pinion gear in there, tightening it all up. Where's it going?
Nowhere.
Alright, so Bora got both axles back in, got the brakes back on and everything. We changed out this bearing. It's a different bearing than the other one, but I mean they work. They just have different seal types, that's all. Other than that, they're pretty much identical. When we bought the bearing, we also got a different shim kit, so we were able to get that a little bit closer to where we wanted it to be, but that's all set up and ready to go. We decided to put this bar across, or actually Toby, our buddy next door, said that he had some bar that we could put through here, so now we connected the two four-link brackets together and then we welded it to the housing. So it's some added bracing. We re-welded the tubes, but we were going to be right back in the same ballpark as we were before unless we did something else. And so they put this bar across there and then we welded the housing to it. So now that thing can't move unless that weld breaks and all of those welds break. And they would have to literally bend this bar out of the way for anything to happen. So much stronger than we had it previously. Just got to finish welding up the two sides of the bar and then we're gonna go give it a little test. Got the slicks here, slap those on, get the diagonal bar. That was the other thing. We painted it so it looks fancier than we're used to, but remade that, got it back installed, so we're just gonna have to center the rear end with that once we get the tires on there. And then we're good to go. See what it does. Bora makes the dream work.
Alright.
So we got that bar welded in, axles in, tires on, everything's good to go. Adjusted the diagonal bar. So we're ready to take it for a drive around. I kind of screwed up and I left the ECU plugged in the entire time we were welding on everything, so fingers crossed that everything still works. And yeah, we'll try to fire it up now, take a cruise around the block for a little bit, and then make it hit and see what it does. Here we go. Hey, the key's on. Take the bag off. Actually, we put a little plug in here. The nitrous used to go into there, and I always just left the solenoid there because it was like acting as a plug, but we let Oscar use it when he went to Outlaw Armageddon, so I had to put a plug in it. Ready to start it up? We'll find out if the rear end was the only thing that we broke. Much better. What's it at right now? 40. 40? Want to hop in and put it through the gears, I guess? Seat back too. Yeah. All right. Go for a drive. All right. Here we go. Take a little maiden voyage. You were going into it, I was trying to remember, what did I leave the boost at? Yeah, we'll have to do that. Alright, so we're gonna go check the anti-roll bar and then just kind of check over everything and then probably make a hit, make sure everything's good. All right, so everything ran good. Cruised well. We went under the car and you know, felt the axle tubes, felt the diff, make sure everything was feeling normal. The one axle that was, you know, a little bit, I guess, tighter, we just checked that bearing, the new one that we put in there. It's not any warmer than usual. Both of them seem perfectly fine. So we're gonna put the last street calibration that we had in it and just give it a little test it and see how it does. I think everything's fine. Oh, we adjusted the anti-roll bar too, so now everything's good with that. So yeah, I'm just gonna upload this calibration and then do a burnout, make a hit, see how it does. This thing seems to be ready to go. It went straight, so we must have done something right. And yeah, I mean, everything felt normal. So we're gonna check everything over and then call it good, basically. I used the calibration that we did down in southern Mexico for a really, really crappy road. And this one's even crappier. And it did okay. I mean, it spun off of the hit. I need more timing out of it off the button, but you know, pedaled it, came back around. It was good. So yeah, I think we're ready to go. Can't do any wheelies to test if it's gonna go straight in a wheelie, but I think we're in good shape. That's it for the night. We're gonna check it over. So yeah, stoked. Board did a freaking awesome job as usual. We figured out a way to rotate a seized axle tube, weld it back up, create even more bracing. I think we're gonna be in really good shape, and it's probably gonna last longer than it should. See how it goes when we get to the race. All right, we're out here at Colorado Truck Madness. It literally has been madness already. We, what was it, 2 hours and 15 minutes to get through the line?
Yeah.
2 hours and 15 minutes to get through the line. I'm glad we came when we did, otherwise we'd be late. So yeah, we just got here, set up, went and got some food, and shit, it's already 3 o'clock. I think our runs are supposed to start at 3 o'clock, but they just started running the street class not too long ago, so I think they're gonna make an announcement for us later. But truck's ready to go. It's turned up to what it normally is. We'll see how the new gearing affects it and see if it goes straight, because what I have it right now, it'll probably wheelie, so hopefully it goes straight. I'll be ready for it if it doesn't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just waiting on them to call us up, and then we're gonna go hammer it, see what it'll do. All right, so we made it past, and I forgot to put any cameras on it, and we were just concentrated on the truck itself. So it went okay. It did not go a time that we need. Felt like it spun a little bit. We're gonna try to hit the tire a little bit harder than normal. Might have to make some adjustments for this gearing that we're not used to. But it went straight. Everything stayed, you know, intact. So I think we're good. We're just gonna do a gnarlier burnout this time. Hope that the track is a little bit better, and we're gonna hit it a little bit harder. So it's either gonna spin from that, or it needs that to push the rear end down a little bit more and hook that. So yeah, so we'll see how these changes do, and then we'll go from there. Colorado. Freaking tornado practically came through. It is pouring out there. You got people rushing, dude, tents flew all over everybody. Our tent almost flew away. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to see in the distance, but that tent just destroyed a bunch of people's cars. I mean, I don't know if it actually damaged it, but when we were running over here to grab everything, it just tumbled over all the cars that were next to it. And those are pretty big pipes for that tent. It's a big ass tent. So, I mean, it is just coming down. We got the truck. We got the truck inside here just in time, so it didn't get soaked, but we sure as hell did. So I don't know. It's plenty early in the event, so if this stops somewhat soon, hopefully we'll be able to race again. But yeah, we'll see. Colorado Truck Madness Monsoon. You both the winners of the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. I don't like that bitch up.
Oh no, potato run.
What, you got a cold air intake, suck all that fire in.
Man, all these guys got to
About to go in that wet t-shirt contest. Where's that at?
Come to Colorado, they said. 300 days of sunshine, they said. Oh, shit.
Huh? No. No, I'm not scared.
They almost hit each other. I know. Oh no, he's stuck. This dude's stuck. I don't know if this is four-wheel drive. Oh, yeah.
Hello. Play with fire, you get burned. You play with mud, you get stuck.
Oh no, he got out. It's the only time you can do a burnout.
Two will burn out.
Oh, he ain't getting a second date. Nope. Okay, so kind of a crazy turn of events. You saw the rain coming down, shenanigans going on. We figured since it was early enough in the event that they were going to try to, dry the track, and then we'd start racing again, and everybody would get time to make another pass or a couple of passes. The curveball, I guess, was even though we had tons of time to dry the track out and continue racing, it rained so hard that the water just kept coming onto the track. It kept seeping through the cracks. There was literally just like 2-inch deep puddles on both sides of the track. Further you went down, the worse it got. So they ended up calling the event. Crazy thing about it was, up to that point, we had the fastest pass. So we were the fastest in small tire, which just, I guess with a little bit of luck, happened to be the fastest overall as well. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of luck. I mean, the good thing about the truck is not how fast it is, it's how relatively consistent it is. It'll always make a decent pass, even when we made changes. I mean, we didn't even know what the rear end was going to do. Weren't really sure, but we gave it a try, and the new gearing kind of threw us off a little bit. So it took one pass to kind of figure out what we were going to have to do with it. The second pass was better. The third was going to be even better. Like, we creep up on it pretty quick, but it always makes a decent pass. And sometimes that's all it takes, I guess. The situation here was, you know, we went up there, we figured that the best prep, because they were still allowing other like streetcar tires to go and everything. And so once they started the round, they went and prepped the track, and we wanted to be the first ones out there. Us and the silver truck, the first two. So he went in the right lane, and then I went in the left lane just after him. There was a lot of trucks that didn't actually make a test pass, and they didn't make an early actual competition pass. And so there were very few times to actually compete with. And luckily, as fast as that silver truck is, because I think he went 870s on his practice run, but the one that actually counted that he was able to make before it rained, he had some trouble with it. He had to pedal a couple of times, and it didn't go as fast as us. So yeah, once we saw him there, I was actually pretty bummed. I was like, crap, there's no way that dude's gonna take it all, you know, we're screwed. But I mean, it just goes to show, like, just because there is a faster vehicle showing up doesn't mean they're gonna win. We did not have we did not have the vehicle that was capable of the fastest time there. There were multiple vehicles there that were capable of faster, but either they weren't ready to run, or, you know, they made a run that was below average for them, and we managed to squeak it out. So yeah, huge amount of prize money too. It was $1,000 for small tire, and it was $2,500 for overall. So we walked home with $3,500. That's the most I've ever won in one sitting. So really excited for that. It was awesome. Wish we would have gotten to done a little bit more racing, but you know, shit happens, weather happens. We actually tried to do a little bit of street shenanigans, but that's a whole nother fiasco. Once again, could not get anything lined up, unfortunately. Maybe some other time, I guess. But yeah, it was a really good time. So obviously, I thanked him on social media, but I want to thank him again on here. Bora Torque from Torque Automotive. You know, we built this truck at his shop in the beginning 3 years ago, and it's been doing great. It's only had one major breakage ever, and you know, I was given up for the year, or not for the year, but until, you know, we got down to Texas, and he said, no, screw that. Let's make this last race, go out one more time. So let's get this thing fixed. And, you know, if we weren't able to rotate those tubes, we weren't going to do it, but we were able to get them rotated, and we got it fixed up, made a little bit of changes, and, you know, got it done. And we would have missed out on $3,500 if it wasn't for his motivation. Usually I got some good motivation, but I was honestly not going to get it fixed. So thanks again to Bora. If you guys need anything performance related or maintenance related, hit him up. His shop's in Aurora, and it's called Torque Automotive. So make sure you hit him up. And let's see, as for everything else, that's probably the last race that we will do in Colorado. As you can see, the garage is a little bit of a nut house because we've got a lot of stuff you know, getting packed up. We got to get the garage packed up. We're gonna head down with the vehicles early. We don't have a place in Dallas yet, but we did sell this house, so we got to get the cars down to Dallas, and Bora's gonna help us out with that on Labor Day weekend. So we're gonna take a little trip down there, look at some houses, and yeah, transport the cars. So that'll probably be it for racing, unless something crazy pops up.
I got called out.
What?
Oh,
yeah, that's the thing. Do you want to do that?
I don't know if we have time.
Yeah. I mean, we got Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. Learn movie quotes, god damn it. So anyway, guys, yeah, just wanted to mainly thank Bora for all the help, and thank Abel, the guy who actually put on Colorado Truck Madness. It was a really fun event. I mean, I really wish we would have been able to, you know, keep racing. It was pretty cool. And yeah, everybody that's ever helped with the truck, because man, this is I mean, obviously, you know, with cars we spend far more than we usually win, unless you're Beater Bomb or somebody like that. It won't be the last time you see the truck, that's for sure. Might be the last time you see it in Colorado for a while. And really excited because as we're, you know, actually starting to get out of this house and, you know, approach finding a place down in Dallas, it means the Civic is, you know, going to be starting back up soon. So once we get down there, Nick from PTS Fab is going to help us out. He might actually be doing a little bit of work on it before we get down there, since you know, we'll have the car down there before we get down there. But yeah, we're gonna start hammering on that as soon as we head down, and the truck will keep doing what it does, I guess. Maybe a little bit quicker down there. So anyway, as usual, like, share, comment, let me know what you guys thought, and yeah, keep an eye out for the next one. We'll still be doing some video, even though it's gonna be a little bit crazy around here. So thanks again for watching.